Hello paper crafters, I have some new kits for you. These are wonderful card kits that create beautiful cards, but they do involve some work, and it is a medium that I haven't really addressed much on this blog, but it is something I do myself and I love. It is called paper embroidery, and this is what I'm showing you in this release. It's going to be 4 kits along with 3 stencils. Now notice I did not say dies, I said stencils, and I'll explain that when I get to them. But this is a wonderful medium. It's one of my favorites. It's labor intensive at first, and then once you get the hang of it, you really make beautiful cards and it goes quicker. It's just learning how to do it. And there are some sites out there. If you Google paper embroidery, there is some instructional sites out there. I learned strictly off the instructions. Mine were in Dutch and I did not speak Dutch, so it's not that hard. You just have to kind of look and think off the patterns. So let's get to it. This release was done by a guest designer. Her name is Irene Jardine, and the reason a guest designer was invited into this is none of my design team paper embroidered except for Petra, and it's hard for Petra to get items to me here in the United States, and for me to ship to her in the Netherlands, it's very costly. So I actually had a guest designer for this who I know does wonderful paper embroidery. Thank you, Irene. You did a wonderful job. So these are kits made by Erica Fortkins and Nell Van Veen. Now, Erica Fortkins is a well-known name in the paper embroidery world. She was one of the forerunners, and her work is beautiful. And I want to show you the cards you can make with this kit, and then I'll show you the kit itself. So you can make, it gives you these patterns for these lovely outlines, and then it gives you these 3-dimensional that you can use with either silicone gel or pop dots, whatever your preference is. Mine is very thin pop dots. I used to like the silicone gel, but it's just too long for me to wait to dry, and the smell is kind of stinky, though I hear they have ones that don't smell anymore, which is great. And this embroidery pattern and these are all enclosed in this kit along with the images. So let's open this kit so you can kind of get an idea of what you're getting yourself into here. Now remember, I said this is for those of you who go into my like my dies. This is more labor intensive, like I said, and for those of you who have done 3D decoupage with my other kits, you have been blessed with things that pop out and you don't have to cut. These are not perforated. You have to cut these by hand. Now there's a whole school of thought with that. Some of you may not know this, but some people will not buy the ones that pop out because they consider truly to make the card by hand, you have to cut these images out by hand and do that. So, and some people just find it relaxing to cut these out. I prefer popping them out, but for something like this where it's an easy cut, I don't mind. It doesn't, these are easy, I know they don't look it, but if you've done decoupage by hand, these are easy cuts. So you get this sheet, excuse me, which has the 3 different designs here, so that's 3 sets of decoupage. Of course, I'm making a video, so my phone rings, sorry. My phone never rings, honestly. And you have this one, 1, 2, and 3 again. And then we have this set with a background paper, which is kind of sweet, and then these flowers, which are very nice. And then we have the 4th set of the decoupage, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images. So you're getting a lot here for your money, and these truly are easy cuts. They really are. And then here are the patterns, and how these are done, in case you're not familiar and you're going to learn, is you take these, you don't use this pattern sheet, make a copy. Don't use your primary, because then you've lost it. You want to be able to reuse and reuse these. So you copy your pattern sheet, and then you take either a needle, put into a cork, and you poke all these little holes by hand. Each one you poke. That is not as labor intensive as you may think, and you do need a pad underneath to poke the holes in. Some people use an old mouse pad on a piece of acrylic or some people use the pads made by Erica Fortkins. I can get you all these things, but I imagine most people who are buying these kits are going to be already into paper embroidery. But you, like I said, I can get you these things. Just email me if you're looking for them. I don't have any in stock at the moment, but I can get them fairly quickly. And then here are the instructions, and they're in 4 different languages. But what I want to show you is the instructions here. I'm going to bring this up close so you can kind of see it. But it shows you how to put the thread 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and it shows you how to go back and forth and make the designs. So you got, you know, the 1, you put the needle, it comes up here, goes down here, comes up here, goes down there, and so forth. So it is kind of, if you're mathematically inclined or you're very well with visuals, paper embroidery isn't hard, and you quickly know if you're doing it wrong. Now, the only tips I will give with paper embroidery is buy machine embroidery floss. Invest in some sulky threads, or Gutenman, I think it's called. I might have said that wrong. Invest in those. Go to where machine embroidery machines are and invest in them, because the DNC threads are horrible. They bunch up, they knot. The machine threads are so much better, and they're so much nicer sheen to them than the other ones. So invest in a few of those. Once you start adding to your collection, you'll have all the colors you need, and you can do it quickly. Look on eBay for some bargains on threads too. And I have kits of threads. For those of you who are starting out, I believe I have some kits that I can get you. I'll check that out if you want to email me. Now this is the card that Irene made. Now isn't that beautiful? If to see this by hand in person is so beautiful. So you can see here, she cut out all of these flowers and added the layers on, and I'll show you here. You can kind of see the dimension there. In person it's 3D, which gives it a whole beautiful look to it. And here's her paper embroidery. Can you see how nice that is, how crisp, clean? That's all done by hand, not machines, folks. The machine didn't punch those out. She poked those holes by hand, so you can see how wonderful. Now I know for a fact, when I started my business years ago, probably about 12 years ago, Irene didn't know how to do this at all. She didn't know how to do the decoupage, and she learned this from a group I had called Dutch Paper Crafts, a Yahoo group, and she just took this craft and ran with it. I would call it her specialty. Here she put a bead. This is like a seed bead here, and it just adds to that. So to bring you back to the original kit, I want to show you here. Here is the design, and you can see she made it different. She made it her own. She did the green here and the yellow here instead of all one color like they did here. I don't like one color a lot. I do like to use variegated colors, like not variegated. Variegated means the same thread with different colors. I like to use assorted colors, though I do like to use variegated threads too. So that gives you an idea how beautiful of a card you can make. And the recipient would probably frame this and keep it forever. I know I would. Okay, so that's the kit number 1. This is EF0001, in case I didn't say that. That's the first kit in the series. Now the second kit, right here, and I'll give you a look here. We have this kind of pattern here with the lines, and over here are some florals, and they kind of added some dimension by bending the paper, manipulating it. And then we have this lovely thing, kind of, if you look at it, it's upside down to you guys, but this way it kind of looks like a tree pattern almost too, for like Christmas, I think. And then this beautiful one with the florals here, and then this is my favorite with all the squares and the zigzag. This would not be as labor intensive as you think, because these are simple stitches, because I know the stitches how they're done. You get all the same things. I'm not going to open the same kits for time's sake, but the card she made was this gorgeous one. Isn't that beautiful? Now these are just simple flat that she cut out of the papers that you receive. No dimension here, and little butterflies, but everything's drawn to this. And if you can see, this is sparkly. It sparkles. I don't know if you can see that, Let me see if I can get my light on it and show the sparkle. There is sparkle thread. And again, if you are going to buy thread, get machine embroidery one. The sparkle thread works so much nicer than the other threads for embroidery, for hand embroidery. They just glide right through. So there's that card. Now, the next card is a holiday theme, and that's why this I bumped this kit up. I didn't bump it up. Irene sent me this a long time ago, but I want to bring it out now for Christmas for those of you who are getting your Christmas cards. And you can see we have some lovely poinsettias and berries here with this lovely star design. We have this beautiful Christmas tree design that's popular with some more different colored poinsettias. This beautiful circle with the stars and the different stars. Like you can see here, we've got stars that are the six-sided stars, and then stars that are a simple stitch there. This would be the simpler stitch as opposed to that, but all fairly easy, with the flower in the center and beautiful like a candle motif here with the candles to the side. Now, she made this wonderful card, and I'm showing you here. She used the star pattern, and here is the pattern right here, and how the difference, see here they did the side panels in this, and Irene took it and did this and put little stickers on it and some more peel off stickers, and then she did the wreath, which is included in the kit, and Merry Christmas on the side. This is an example of variegated thread. If you look at it closely, you can see that the colors change within the thread. It goes from like a yellow to a pink to a blue. That's called variegated thread, and that's a whole fun technique too with paper embroidery. I'm telling you, if you're not familiar with this world and you're a crafter and you're a paper crafter and you're following along with my stuff and you sew, this you've got to try this. Sewing on paper is amazing. It's very relaxing too. It's not as hard as counted cross stitch and such. It's so much easier. So next one, Christmas again. We got this lovely like cross stitch tree. We have this gorgeous where you can put a strip down the middle and embroider these sides. Gorgeous little loop-de-loo here. And this gorgeous circle with the frame and something in the center. You know, you don't have to use what they give you here. These are ideas. You can use any paper or things you have. It doesn't have to be 3D decoupage. I predict this kit will be popular. I love it. And here's the card. Now, what's amazing is Irene took my least favorite card here, this one, this design, and now I love the card, and I actually want to make it up, and she made it. She actually followed this one, kind of followed it and made it exactly like the pattern showed there. So you can see just in when it's all done up how beautiful it is. The dimensional of the bulb with the greenery, the shininess of the thread. That thread is shiny thread. It's metallic. And just how beautiful that is. Imagine sending this to someone as these are cards you send to people who you really kind of have to give them a little gift maybe for Christmas, but you really don't want to send them something in the mail. This is your answer. Send them one of these. This is a gift and a card all in one. And even tell them that it's handmade, and you know, feel free to save it and put it on your mantle for year to year for Christmas. I sometimes take my whole Christmas tree and just put cards in it with the white lights, and you wouldn't believe how many compliments I get because, of course, every card in it is gorgeous. So there's some ideas. Now, there's a little bit more to this release, and these are very limited in quantity. So if you're interested in these, jump on it right away because they have been discontinued, and I've gotten them at a good price. Now, these are not dies. These are stencils. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer. It shows you the holes where to punch with your needle. These images in here can either be embossed if you like, but would work weird with the holes. They're more to show you kind of where to cut or to color in with a pencil, or to take a pencil and follow the stencil and cut out behind. That's kind of what they're done. Before dyes came, this is what all we had and what we did, and some people still remain true to it and do not do dyes. Irene is one of those people. She doesn't have a dye. At least I haven't talked to her in a while, but the last time I did, she didn't have a dye in her collection. She does everything by hand. So in here, there is no instructions, but you can see these are very simple stitches. They're all just from out to in. And once you start doing that, you'll realize it. So again, these are very limited in quantity. They do not cut. These are all hand cut. If you want to get the cuts out, you have to do it by hand. This is a stencil. The stencil is for the embroidery. So I want to show you the beautiful card she made with this. Isn't that gorgeous? That is so pretty. And yes, she hand cut each of these stars and each of these triangles, and then embroidered the little parts here that were to be. So the embroidery on these are very easy. Where you're going to spend your time with these is actually taking your X-Acto knife and cutting out. And I would recommend an X-Acto knife. X-Acto knives, believe me, once you make yourself use them and force yourself to use one, you get the hang of them very quickly. And anyone who thinks you can't cut well with an X-Acto knife has never seen Anna Griffin in doing her thing with them. That girl can cut anything out with an X-Acto knife. So if she can do it, so can't you. I forced myself to learn. And here along the edges, that's all hand cut. That wasn't the dye, she hand cut. And then you can see she took a fine gold marker and lined that. But again, beautiful card, very eye-catching, very stunning, and very little embroidery here, more cutting. Next die is this tree. And I do believe from my supplier the tree is gone. So what I have in stock, I only have a few. I'm not sure how this will sell. I'm thinking not very well at first till it catches on, because none of my design team was familiar with paper embroidery, and no one's asked me for a lot of requests for paper embroidery. So I'm introducing it to you. Oh, this stencil here, just for in case you're wondering, it is 4.050.430, which makes this one 4.050.431. Don't think I've been very good on this video giving you numbers, but they will appear across the screen and of course on my blog. So again, here is the stencil, and again, very minimal stitching here, more into cutting. And wait till you see the beautiful card Irene made. Isn't that gorgeous? She put the brads, she took 3 of these trees, did the gold around the frames, used peel-offs, used rhinestones, and nice gold stitches to make the card. And this is not, if cutting is, you know, labor intensive for you, then that's the most laborious thing. Stitching on this is very easy, and adding these delightful little stars in strategic places just makes this a gorgeous card. And I have my last one right here, the bell. It is 4.050.432. And again, this is a stencil, not a die. And very little stitching, but very, very elegant results. And I want to show you this one here. And this one, how she put the little beads in there for the stitching. Can you see that? And then she cut these out, and I wanted to point that out, and I don't think I pointed that out on the first card. When she cut this one out on the bulb, she put paper in the back that had a very little very small pattern to it, and that was so sweet to put that paper in there. This is leaving it blank. It's up to you which you prefer. Do you like a more busier card or a more plain card? I like the busier card, but that's me. Some of you will definitely like this better. But this is a good example to see how it's looking when it's cut. So you cut out, then sew, and then if you really want to, add the beads. And of course, this is some ribbon peel-offs. I actually think I have these for sale on my blog. And a nice bow to hang the bell from. So I hope this convinces you to try paper embroidery, at least to buy a kit and maybe start and learn this craft. This is going to be an interesting release. I'm going to have a few card kits for the holidays, start getting these out to you so you can get them home and start working on your treasures for Christmas. I hope you're all having a nice fall season, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.